Hey everybody, hope y'all having a good week so far. Weekend's coming up. So I posted a video or a picture yesterday on the Telegram. Kind of just drew out a line, kind of like this. Okay. So sometimes we see bottoming formations like a double bottom, and Adam and Eve is a pretty popular one, a W bottom, a V-shaped bottom. There's a lot of different like long-term bottoms that you can find. So like if we go like right here, for example, this was a really small Adam and Eve bottom right here. Normally comes down about somewhere around 50%. This one was a little bit more, but that was your short-term bottom there. Okay, we can go over here, and then you could probably call this a W bottom or an inverse head and shoulders even potentially. And then right here, probably inverse head and shoulders. We go down to a smaller time frame, and then right here you've got this Adam and you've got this Eve bottom here. So this is a potential that we could see in this next cycle bottom here, and then we'd start the wave 3. Now that being said, we first need to close below this 200-week moving average. Okay, we haven't done that yet. So the 200-week moving average is extremely strong support. Okay, the only reason why I even brought that up was because of this monthly candle. That monthly candle was a bearish engulfing candle. The majority of those times that we've had that, we've had some problems. So there is some buy pressure here, which is good. It's not just like a solid candle like this one right here. See, there's no wick whatsoever. Bearish engulfing, no wick, and then it just collapsed. So we did have some buy pressure there, which is good. See if we can find another one. This was a bearish engulfing candle here too. However, we went parabolic shortly after that. Bearish engulfing candle here with some buy pressure, and then we went down just a little bit, and then we bought back up. So there are situations where a bearish engulfing candle isn't quite that big of a deal, but sometimes it can be. So just keep that in mind. Like for example, right here, that was a pretty bad one. But then you see one like this had a little bit of buy pressure here, and then next month was a bullish engulfing candle. That bullish engulfing candle would probably be a really good place to buy anyway, or any kind of pullbacks on that at that point. So we're just going to have to see. The weekly was bullish. This candle was a bullish engulfing candle here, which is a pretty strong indication of an upward move. Had a little bit of a higher wick there. But longer term time frames, we do have that bearish engulfing candle. So that does put that Adam and Eve bottom at play. So now that I showed all that, and then we could even do, let's say that weekly, the monthly doesn't really matter, and we actually end up in this box. So you could see this, and then you could see some sort of an Adam and Eve bottom here too, just coasting along that 200 week moving average. The monthly candle just kind of puts this a little bit maybe in perspective, and that can come pretty dang low. So major support, the 200 week moving average, and then past that you've got this cluster of support around 22,000. All right, so let's take a look at the indicators here. This looks like it's going to cross over the next week, and that's not good either. unless we get some kind of green price action, I mean, you really don't want to cross this at all. You do have just a couple months. There are times where you just cross a little bit, but we'll get to that later. I'd rather see this cross to the upside this weekly and then continue up from here. But currently, things are kind of getting to a pinch point where it's hard to decide what direction we're going to be going, and candles kind of just make a difference in deciding what to do. So, that being said, just remember I do expect this cycle to at least get to 90 something thousand, maybe 88 to 100,000. So at this point, by 2025, as long as everything stays the same, right, you would have up to 88, a couple 100% on BTC from this point on. Okay, can it pull back all the way down to this low? Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't see the Adam and Eve bottom might not play out. It kind of depends on if there's a wick or whatever. But every drop that this has, you're going to have a higher percent gain. So let's just go to 88,000. 230%. If you go to 100,000, it's 270. Okay, so any pullback, if it comes down here, 88,000, you got 330%, 100,000, 400%. So if it comes down to that 20K line. So just keep that in mind. I'd really rather this correct where it is now. I mean, it can't, I guess, just because I don't want to go through something like this again. This was just really miserable. I mean, you had to buy the low, you literally had like a couple weeks, a couple months maybe, and then a couple days down here. And then everything else up here you bought was eventually profitable. Just took some time. So the more we consolidate and kind of correct here, retest supports, the more it's going to kind of trend slowly to the upside. More like something like this. And I'd rather see something like this, to be quite honest. Okay, so that pretty much covers BTC. Let's look at the monthly real quick, though. Hopefully that'll cross. That should cross in the next 6 months or so. If we correct down, it's going to take a little bit longer. Maybe the next 3 months. We'll see. And then those crosses are pretty strong. Okay, so that's it for BTC. I think I said that a bunch of times already. Yeah. Okay, so let's look at LTC USD. Just because Bitcoin's going sideways does not mean that the other altcoins cannot move to the upside. And Litecoin, hang on one second. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so so this is the take profit point. Obviously, it hasn't got up there, so just been pretty slow. Well, let's pull this off. Let's put it on the weekly. I mean, you still have a couple weeks, and if we break out of here, this could be actually a pretty big move. Could bring quite a bit of excitement into Litecoin. I mean, it's approaching it's literally at its apex on the weekly. So I guess there could maybe be one more week, um, but it's kind of unlikely. So, and this green line is a variance of like 1 month to 2 months, or 1 month backwards to 2 months. That's why this box is kind of big here. It can lead all the way up to the halving. And the halving is actually about right there. A couple days before that, I think. I think it's on the 3rd. So we move this over a little bit more. Normally it's topped before. And even this one over here, it topped before. So this one was like 1 month. This one was like 1.5, 2 months. And then this right here would be 3 months back. So if the trend stayed the same, we would top somewhere around there. However, it wouldn't make sense that we don't get above this area here, or at least where it's at, before the next halving. Otherwise, there's some problem with Litecoin, I would assume. Let's bring this down to a daily. So we're right here. Looks like we have closed outside of here. We're retesting. So most likely this is going to pop to the upside. Yeah. That looks good. 3 days bullish on the MACD. And then the weekly is really, really bullish. So you've got a cross, right? You've got these two candles, which are doji candles, pushing the price to the upside. So this, based on these candles, this price should go up. We should break to the upside of this pattern, which could be pretty big. You also have bullish divergence here on a weekly time frame, which is the strongest time frame that you can get, except a monthly. And every time we've had that, I mean, you see this is bullish because it's at the bottom, right? And price should catch up here. That's got quite a ways before it can make it up there, though. So that was the inverse head and shoulders target area. If we make it in that box, I would be probably selling my LTC. If we can make it to 150, I might sell some that I bought low, and just take a 100 to 50 to 200% profit off that I've been sitting in for a while, which is pretty low, and then just wait for a pullback and then reaccumulate or put it into something else. But let's see how that weekly divergence plays out. That should be pretty good. It's just taken forever to get through that $100 area. Uh, Trying to see if there's anything else. I mean, we can take a look at H bar, but it's not doing anything. two can just coast sideways here. Should not, well, we shouldn't break this. If the low's in on BTC, which I think it is, we shouldn't break this level on H bar. Unless BTC just collapsed all the way back down to its bottom or just had some scary wick. I mean, I guess you could have some super scary wick, and that does happen. I mean, you had one like that over here. Sometimes that does happen. So to retest that trend line, it looks like we're going to retest. This is really one of the last levels of support here, right here, and then right down here at about 4 cents, 0.42 cents, 0.042 cents. However, 5 cents for H bar I think is really good. Got down to 4 cents. So and H bar, I would really assume it would make a new high here. I'm just putting this in as conservative as possible because some of these in the last cycle they stopped at their wave 3, which was like at the top. It was the third top. So as we get to those points, we'll have to see if it's time to take profit or not. Nothing really special on the indicators. Weekly doesn't look good. One good thing about H bar is the week at least stochastic RSI is down here. It's normally when you really want to be accumulating. You know, and this could even make an Adam and Eve bottom too. Circles around here, consolidates, and then finally pops up. And then you move into wave 3. Just kind of see how it shapes up over the next couple months. All right, guys, I don't think there's nothing else to really go over for today. Just have to see. I mean, things can get kind of boring for a little while. I mean, this is what Bitcoin does. It goes up a couple 100%, corrects for 6 months, does some scary crap here, goes up quite a bit, does some scary crap, goes up again. This cycle here, you went up, had a boring movement amount of time here from November all the way to May. So that's 6 months of just boring nothing. And then boom, boring nothing for scary June all the way to November before you made a new high after that breakout. And then once you start getting into the 3 and 5 is whenever it gets really exciting. So that's just kind of how it goes. Okay. All right, guys. Y'all have a good week. I will talk to you on Sunday. We'll check out how that weekly closes. We just need to stay above that 200-week moving average. All right. Now we'll talk to y'all